back, folks. We have an incredible story here. Two children born in post-World War Germany to German women fathered by African-American soldiers. Their stories reveal two societies that initially rejected these children and chronicles their paths to finding homes, love, and acceptance. Now, their experience as brown babies will be featured in an award-winning documentary. And here to tell us more is Daniel Cardwell and Peter Grammer. They are both featured in the documentary Brown Babies. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. Truly an absolutely incredible story, incredible journey that you gentlemen have been on. So I thank you for coming in and being part of the show today. So tell us, first of all, you're in this documentary. What prompted you to want to, I mean, obviously an incredible story. What prompted you to want to tell this story? We've got books and we now have a documentary. How did it come about telling this in narrative form and now in a documentary?
Well, as you know, visual media is very powerful, and I felt that somewhere along the line, as a brown baby, our time was running out. We're getting older. Mm-hmm. We have not made contact with other brown babies who are faced with some of the same problems that we have had with respect to identity and our past. So I met Regina Griffin, who had some very good inroads with respect to creating documentaries, and she decided to take this on as a project, and it has moved forward in leaps and bounds since then. Okay. So that's how some of this started. I mean, I have to tell you lots of things before, but that's how some of it started.
Okay. Now, did the book come first? Did you decide to write the book first?
I wrote the book first, but I did not release it. A very common thing around many adoptees and brown babies is they typically won't write their life story books until after the adopting family or parents have died. And once I wrote the book, copyrighted it, and then held it for about another 2 years, and then released it after my mother, the last parent, died.
Okay. Now, I'm wondering if, you know, as you said, it was a long journey, and, you know, of course, we read the book, we see the documentary about it, but can you share a little bit with us this morning about the journey that you went through?
Well, my first recollections were being institutionalized, you know, not knowing what the worlds outside the orphanage, that it even existed, not knowing what it was like to be a member of a family, just existing in an institution. And I did suffer some mistreatment that I recall because I was 6 years old when I was adopted, so I obviously have memories of my childhood. And so that's what life was like back then. I was discriminated against and mistreated, but I didn't understand why.
Sure.
Because you know, when you're a kid, things happen to you. You know, you have no control over your life.
Right. So when did you gentlemen make the move to the United States? How did you come to live in the U.S.? You were both born in Germany. Is that right?
Yes. I was 3 years old, and I'm here primarily because of his mother.
Really?
That you know, we were some of the first children to come over. 5 in our family, all 5 of us were adopted from Germany, and Mabel Grammer was very intimately involved in our adoption, and that's his mother also.
Okay, okay. And, you know, I can only imagine, you know, when we think of post-World War II Germany, you know, just a nation ripped apart and so much chaos going through. I'm just blown away by how you can, you know, rise above. You're in a country that is ripped apart. You come back from, you know, being German-born in the United States. That's got to be hard. What has been? It sounds like a silly question to say. What has been the most difficult part of your journey?
Well, Peter goes first.
Okay.
Peter go first.
Well, for me, the most difficult part of the journey is just the question of identity. Because you know, you're not white, you're not black, you know, well, what are you? And because my mother and father kept us in an environment where they kind of sheltered us from a lot of bigotry and prejudice, I didn't personally experience a lot of it, but as I got older, it became more of an issue. And to be quite honest, it was more difficult for me to be accepted by the black community than it was by the white community.
Really? Wow.
It really
now,
was.
you were both adopted into African-American families
Correct.
when you came to the States, is that correct?
Correct.
Right, and that was a transition. We were looking now at parents of color whereas before almost our entire environment had been more of what you might consider a German to be looking like, especially in some of the Kinderheims. But if I might also remark on the question that you gave him is, this journey is a lifetime journey, first of all. From the time we were able to start reasoning concretely on our own, the biggest question is, who are we? Who am I? To spend a lifetime trying to figure out, who am I? I get around people and they say, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, or try to, what group do I hang with? When you don't know who you are, identity becomes the top shelf issue for that person. This comes to adoptees very often, and as far as the brown babies goes, adoptees from Germany, I would say it's not a morning you don't wake up and wonder who you are. And then when you find out, where did I come from? Where's my mama? These things bother you. I'm very glad at this particular point, and I think that the film talks about this, is now I know who I am. Now I know who my mother was. I mean, now I have identity. But there are so many that still don't. And this powerful media is poised to basically get the word out so that other brown babies don't have to feel this way. There have been suicides, there have been various kinds of problems in life, runaways, various other things that have affected these children, not because they have behavioral issues, but because of how we started and how we got here. And in many cases, how the trauma and the pain that occurred before we got here. So the journey, this is a good journey, and it's not over, but it has been one filled with finding out our identity.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's very incredible. Daniel, so very quickly, where can people see this documentary? Because this, I think, is a very, very important film.
Well, I think we have to be thankful for the Museum of American Military History and Learning Center, as well as the South Broadway Cultural Center, and an organization that Peter belongs to, which is called BRATS, who are now bringing this to Albuquerque, and in many cases assisted in putting this out here on national TV. This will be shown tomorrow night.
No, tonight.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
That's okay.
This will be shown tonight at, give the details.
Tonight at the South Broadway Cultural Center. And the reception's at 6:30, and the documentary is going to be shown at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock at South Broadway Cultural Center. Folks, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing this story with us here. We will have information on our website at casa.com under the Style tab. We will be right back. Gentlemen,